And welcome back to Svalvinter, the role-playing game Sulfur-Winter. The Conflux Saga Book 2 is underway. And who knows what might happen in the soon future. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen this session, because it's all in the hands of the players. Some idea. This show is rated R because everyone is terrible, and even when they are nice in ways that are not child-friendly. How about that? So be warned. With us tonight, to the right, we have Josh.
Hey folks, I am playing Mereld and Erald, basically the local Animist Inquisition, and going to try and find out some more about all of these lovely seers that seem to be dropping dead.
Indeed. Promos.
And I'm John Fuller. I play Promos Ab Gol Monda, a guy with a boat.
Then there is Rubello.
I am Drake, and I'm playing Rubello, currently aiding Josh playing Erald on his quest to stop the seer from being assassinated.
Indeed. And last but definitely not least, we have Trakoria's own Dirty Harry.
Harriet. I'm Jessica Lapointe, and I play Supreme General Praanz da Kaelve, because I keep giving myself new titles. And I am running the Dinga Talonga in the most murderous, bloodthirsty way I can.
There is a trail of blood wherever you go. Almost. Your boots are leaving prints of blood where you walk.
The only time it dies down a little is when Erald's with me. He tries to curb my murderous intentions. He doesn't always succeeds.
He does try to, yeah, ever so slightly. I think we have some dice in the chalice. We have dice in the chalice, you guys. Oh my god. We have a bunch of dice in the chalice, which means that some lucky soul can gain a fate die by recounting what happened last session. Who would that be?
I could recall half of it.
Supposed to remember things.
I know.
All right, I'll try and take a kick at this. So yeah, basically the lovely players here went ahead and went up to Helperham. And basically from Helperham, Praanz and Promos, we pretty much split the party, for lack of better terms at that point, where basically Erald and Rubello went over to Safina via Zeppelin, arrived in Teagold, only to find out that the local oracle there, Sengalis, was assassinated and that the ocean seemed to have taken her away as part of it. So had an opportunity at that point to talk to Erald and Rubello and basically said that the conflux is coming. You know, some type of magical event or change of seasons or the great, wonderful apocalypse, for lack of better terms, but in a magic way. And got marching orders to basically find all the seers around the world and see if they, one, if they're even still alive, and two, find out what you can about this conflux. So with our marching orders, Erald and Rubello started to make their way over to the White Flame at Hodijar. But while this was all going on, Praanz and Promos, this is where I don't remember the rest, basically went off on their little own adventure.
We can also fill out that Erald and Rubello are in fact in the mountains and has managed to...
White flames.
Yeah, exactly. You found the White Flame. Though you haven't actually seen any flames yet. It's apparently a sacred place where only the local madman can go.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, exactly that. We're not too sure if it's just white flame or it's quite literally just a mad person speaking riddles. It's great. It's great talking
An
to
old
seers.
guy wearing her clothes.
Yes. Praanz and Promos, meanwhile, went to do something else.
Here, we're attempting to track down an order of assassins, are we not?
Yes,
We found them.
you found them.
Then they're like, we're not going to give you any information, but if you have a hit. So I'm like, sure, I'll put a hit on all the players.
Yes, the adventurers. I'm sure they will appreciate that sooner or later.
Of course they will.
Yep, that's basically it. You took Promos' ship to Vumbra and put a hit out. That's it. And that's where we left off. In fact, we were in the early morning of the 16th of the 3rd month of the year. That is called Fataska in this world. And Erald and Rubello have spent the night up in a small mountain village up in Hujjar, waiting for word from the White Flame. The madman is supposed to bring you word. And will he?
I do hope so. Otherwise, this lovely journey and scaring some local folks was just all for naught.
Hey man, scaring people can be fun if you do it right.
Erald's still getting used to it.
True. The general title helps though.
In fact, when you're woken up by the madman with the long hair, and he's standing and staring at you wild-eyed. You have to, Barú, holy ones, you have to save the White One. The fateful call of the woods howls in the woods. Yes, jaws. Yes, that's it. White claws in the woods. Wolves running on legs. Yes. Yes, you have to save the White One. Grips
So-
your tunic, panics. The White
Okay.
One.
Yes. So he's in the woods
She's in the woods, yes. I
Shit.
saw trees.
and he's
Yes.
being chased by wolves
No, not chase.
on 2 legs.
Yes, others chase. The White One. The woods of the wolves. On 2 legs. No more. The woods white. There is an evil frog. It will eat the White One.
Okay. Mikkel, I'm going to try and make sense of this craziness.
You might want to cut the mushrooms in his room first.
I'm going to go look at the Rubello here, who's obviously in the room with us, and basically say, Rubello, do you know of any spot where there's wolves that walk on 2 legs here in the realm? And between us, we're going to I'd like to try and do like a lore check to see if werewolves exist in this, and if that's what he's trying to hint around.
Of course, Rubello is not a scholar.
Very, yeah,
scholarship
I'm
there.
not knowledgeable, but
A wind check for this is not terribly hard to make. How would you help him figure this out?
From my end, what I'm thinking is obviously he's going as a mad gentleman, and I'm trying to make sense of it using my insight machinator skill to try and translate this to something that's easy for Rubello and myself to work out of, if that makes sense, right?
Yes. Yeah, that makes... So you're reading his emotional state and trying
Yeah.
to tease out. Okay. Do you want to use a fate die on this, or do you just want to use your water?
I will probably just use my water, but looking to see if it can be aided by Rubello.
Roll 2d6 for Erald first, and then Rubello will do the wind check. That's a success. Rubello now has 4 dice.
I would like to know exactly how truthful he is being. Like, is he just hallucinating? Or is there actually... Does he fully believe there are wolves on 2 legs chasing the White One
Let's have a look.
from him?
Shamashi Truth. You can detect lies using your miracle working. You
Nice.
can dispel illusions, binding oaths, Shamashi Light if you want to influence someone. But it doesn't, unlike Enki's Flowing Wisdom, it doesn't help you figure things out. Like Enki's domain is making decisions about paths and so on and so forth. So Shamash will only tell you about whether he's lying or not. So you can make a prayer to Shamash and just check if he's lying.
I don't think he's lying.
Why don't you just roll 4 dice? And this is not going to necessarily be like a check for magic or anything. It's just you thinking about the islands. Look at that. 2 successes. It's a common knowledge among most Trakorians that there are wolfkin. Erald, I'm sure you remember the reavers that Gotthard had on Marjura, the wolfkin rangers.
Yeah. No, Errol definitely would.
In the round, they come from a place called the Wolferwood, appropriately enough, which is right up here on Trinsmiro.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, the wolf. He could be a wolf, or they could be a wolfkin, but why would they be worshipping him on this island and the Wolferwood's actually on Trinsmira, right? Unless they came down to hunt them, and they're actually the ones doing the hunting here.
Who knows what these madmen have in their minds?
We are not geared up to take on Wolfkin.
Yeah, I don't feel that we're going to be needing to go to Wolferwood and start knocking in heads or anything along the lines of that. Go towards. But to that point, I think it's more along the lines of maybe that whole kin were hired to try and take out the white one. And our dear friend, and I'll look basically back at the madman, has recognized that, but it still does not answer the question of where the white one is currently today.
The white one in the woods! The white one in the woods! Yes, the white one in the woods. How moon! The white one in the wood! Yes!
But Praanz isn't there.
Yeah, he's muttering. He seems absolutely out of sorts.
All right.
Marcus, we can just ask him to lead us to the woods.
Yeah, we'll look at the madman and basically ask him to lead us to where he knows the white one is.
What are you talking? I can't leave the white flame. Can't leave.
Why not?
Because the white flame needs me.
Hold up. The Herald at this point basically has a moment of clarity. You said the white one, not the white flame.
Yes.
Oh, the Rubello, he's talking about a different seer or someone else being hunted.
Am I? Oh, I'm talking about. Oh, maybe yes. Yes, as you mentioned.
Because the white flame is here, is it
the
not?
white flame is here.
It's in your little encampment. And
showed me the white one. The white flame showed me the white one.
Okay. Thank you.
Not confusing at all.
About the white one.
What?
What did the white flame tell you about the white one?
White flame told me that the white one is in danger. It's from a frog. Scary frog.
Do we know of a frog, Rubello?
You do.
Oh. I don't.
Errol knows of a frog.
Assassins.
Oh, the literal frog. Okay. Yeah.
White wolfkin and a frog.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm having flashbacks to my other character.
Okay, so Rubello, I think the seer here is probably fine. We probably should figure out how we're going to do guard duty for this person, because they're still able to use the white flame. If the white one that's being referenced here by the white flame is being attacked or hunted by this assassination group. then we need to try and get there, or at least make our way up towards that way. Because this seer, for lack of better terms, is more crazy, no offense, than anything else, but it's possibly legitimate. And on the grand map of the seer locations, Mikkel,
Yep.
is that where the woods that was being referenced for the wolf can reside? Is that very close to where the seers are?
Let's have a look. We had Agent's map of Trakoria, right?
I believe so.
There it is.
Yep.
So this would be a new one then, that the White
Possibly.
Flame would have told you about.
Yep.
Should I
Okay.
mark it down?
Yeah, let's add it up.
Apparently not dead yet, according to the White Flame.
Thank you
Yep.
for that.
Oh, the White One.
Yes. So what can we do here to protect the old man?
I could perhaps contact Ariano and see if he could send over some protectors.
Okay.
That's a thing you could do.
I think that makes the most amount of sense, especially if this person is clairvoyant, as crazy as he is. Most clairvoyants usually are. But to that point, it might be to our benefit to keep these people alive, at least for, who knows. We'll know more whenever we get to another location with more of them, I think. For you to send that message off, I'm assuming we have to head back to the local village at Jodak.
Yes. Yeah, you would have to travel on, absolutely.
I thought we had a guide up the mountain with the Zeppelin there, and then we had a guide up
Yes,
the mountain or something.
Exactly, you did, because landing in the mountains can be a bit risky. You will then leave the little village and go back to Judak, and take the Zeppelin from there, to somewhere.
I've got a mechanics question for you, Miguel.
Mhm.
Is there any way that I can leave Quello there until basically the cavalry arrives?
You won't be able to use Gio, of course.
Yeah. So that's basically my marching orders to Quello would be stay there until basically the cavalry arrives, and then for us to meet back in Triglyph at some point.
All right,
Look for
meet you back in
tiny
Tresilva.
frogs.
He will meet you back in Tresilva then.
Just that way we're not leaving it unattended.
All right. He bows to you, being the red tongue, the flame tongue that he is. And of course, Barú, I shall stay here and guard the white flame for you until the cavalry arrives. You say, I do not understand how to use cavalry in the mountains, but that is not my problem.
Is Gio always French?
Quello is French, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, he's from
Yes.
McGillrip, which is straight south from here, from the Empire.
It's not the actual Calgary, just basically once
Calgary?
it's been a really long evening. Erald has not had enough sleep. He's maybe a bit hasn't had his tea or coffee yet.
Mocha.
Cavalry, but basically whenever the army here arrives from Hodijar.
Oh, yes, I understand now.
But in the
Your expressions in Trakoria are sometimes confusing.
until we meet again.
So we are traveling back, and of course, since you used a fate die last time to get the guide and everything, and you're in Hodjar, Oriano influence area, I'm gonna say it's gonna be, if there is any areas that are safe for you to go, it would be one of these ones. In where you made a deal with Rabdorana. It's a new day now, and you are no longer making a deal necessarily.
We can't really take on the entire assassination group right now.
Yes.
That manpower and resources. And we have more pressing problems.
Yep. That's actually quite likely.
Being that sending the assassination after the adventurers We'll light a fire under them and maybe distract them.
All right. Okay. No, I was looking at it last time. You got a note. That's how we ended up last session about a strange murder in Vumra. Someone who was missing a brain.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
All right. So we're going to go to the morgue then.
Not really. He's not afraid of the dead, but he doesn't truck with them. He watches them real carefully.
I don't blame you there. 'Cause
Yeah, remember, we killed all them dead guys once.
we did.
I'd rather not do it again.
Yeah, I'll show up at the city.
You are in the military headquarters, flashing your badge and just generally throwing your Digitalunga weight around.
Yeah, Praanz pretty much runs the Digitalunga because her wife would give her free reign.
Yes, and I can say this much. It's so much easier to be here now than it was last time you visited when a certain witch, Fundibera, was causing general havoc around town with all those weird illusions.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
So the one time I don't have my priest and there's boogity shit.
Yes, but this time there is no such stuff because it seems like that feud that has been over people's minds when Fundibera controlled this area is just gone. Isn't it nice to have
Excellent.
proper Trakorian control here again? Maybe the Navy is coming back and everything. I don't know. I'm thinking it probably is. It's a good big base, isn't it? And as such, I have a feeling that you will be able to just go to the garrison and order the dead body delivered, right? It's you.
Yeah. It's me.
It's you. So that's exactly what's going to happen. You will go to where would they keep a dead body in Vumbra?
Butcher shops?
They put them in cold storage? A forge town, yeah?
It's the Forge Town, yes. I'm thinking that the local law enforcement, city guards, such as it is, will have transported the body on your orders to the garrison and maybe in the dungeons or something with the prisoners.
Yeah, the dungeons would make the most sense.
Yeah. That's where you will meet. And with the local city guard, you will go there and there is a fellow there standing around in the Trakorian tabard, chainmail, sword on side, helmet, and there's a couple of other guards there as well, and they're just looking generally awkward.
Lieutenant, do you have any medical personnel around to assist?
General, I suppose we can find some? Yes, ma'am. And just rushes away to do this.
It's a Supreme High General now, yeah?
Supreme High General. Yes, ma'am.
It's fine, you may leave us.
Yep. The dead body's lying there on the slab, on the table, basically. It looks completely unharmed to your eyes.
Okay, so I start looking for pinholes.
Yep. You are not someone with the medicine ability and the expertise in establishing causes of death, but you're looking around on the surface of the body and can do a general investigation check here. You have
Thing that I had.
no. It's just your win checks.
Okay.
Is Promos maybe the investigator of this group?
I can look for a hole in somebody.
Praanz, roll to win to help Promos find a hole in somebody.
Praanz, if you're looking for a hole of this size and shape,
And
Oh, yeah,
that's
right there.
all the successes. You will never roll this good again. I'm so sorry that you spent that roll on not saying.
I'll get it on some. It'll come in just when it's necessary and not narratively important.
You will find the hole in a very surprising place. I think this is Promos just making fun of Praanz and just opening the mouth to say, look, a hole. But when you do that, there is in fact a hole in the mouth where it shouldn't be.
Is this like one of those weird cephalopods that eats somebody's tongue and replaces it? Like
The roof, the ceiling of the mouth is basically just gone. And there's a hole straight through from there up to the nasal cavity and into the brain.
Is there any specific method or technique that does this that she would know about?
No.
No.
That's really where the whole medicine ability comes in.
Where the hell is my doctor?
Zolia runs to fetch the doctor too, just to not be in Praanz's proximity.
That was the plan.
It's going to be a successful plan.
Wait, when Praanz doesn't know what to do, she just starts snapping up inferior soldiers.
Now I'm going to have tough questions here for Rubello once more, in fact. Do you want to spend a fate die to give Praanz access to a very competent doctor?
Please do.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Because you are the one with the influence in the area. So if Ariano spends a fate die, then you will get like the best doctor money can buy, basically, from the area.
Excellent.
So that puts you down to 2 fate dice left. But that's okay. There's going to be a little while, of course, in the morning here before the chief medical officer of the entire, like the local hospital, everything. This is a very highly ranked Grand Synthal of the medical establishment here in Wumbra. It comes in person. And this person is Tund Lady of the Middle Ages. Middle-aged lady, also Middle Ages, because it's Renaissance, really, but never mind. And she will approach you and yes, I am Singamila Vumbra. What can I do for you?
Excellent, Doc. I open the corpse's mouth.
Blink, blink. And now I get to roll. I'm going to spend no less than 4 fate dice on her medical ability from my GM pool.
Is there some way that Promos's excellent hole spotting?
Sure, why not? Let's add a couple of extra dice for the work you've already done. Or at least 1 more die for your 6 there.
Would you like me to roll my wind again?
No. Oh, I rolled terribly, though. She can't re-roll because she doesn't have experiences. NPCs don't. Ha!
Alas.
She's just staring at it. What in the God's name? This is strange. Wait. She will produce a couple of magnifying glass of some kind. Promos, having seen spy glasses, will probably be liking the work with lenses here. Trying to look inside the mouth. It magnifies the mouth. How about that? No other wounds on this body? Let's have a look. That takes the hand and just shoves it into the hole. Yep, no, brain is gone. Brain is gone. Completely gone.
I'll have to try that one.
That's brain stem. Huh. That gooey hand by now washes it in a span of water. Let's look at the rest of the body, shall we? Just to eliminate everything and identify everything. And
Of course.
undresses the body, looks everywhere else. Interesting. After having examined the body for a while, she look up at you. I am terribly sorry, Madam General, ma'am. I do not know what could have caused this, but I can tell you that the cause of death was this. Also, it seems to me, look here at the jagged edges, and points down and uses the little looking glass. It seems to me that this cavity was created. It seems like, see here, the flake, it's pointing outwards. So whatever hit this body did not strike inwards. It's like the brain
Came from down.
came out. It must have taken terrible force to create that.
So is
blunt force would damage everything else.
Yeah.
yeah, it cracked through the
Well-
skull, and it's not like something reached up and then pulled back. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, that's it.
Could a creature have gone in a different orifice smaller and then gotten larger while inside the brain cavity and come out that way?
Oh, General Ma'am, that is beyond my competence. I just look at dead bodies and see what happened to them. I leave that to other scholars and academics.
Promos is going to check the nasal cavity and the ears and see if he can find anything.
For
and he will,
trails.
yeah, and he'll take the lens from her and rig it up in a rough approximation of how she did it.
I guess this is where the knives come out. You start digging into the body to see even more traces.
At this point, Praanz starts slowly, methodically dissecting.
Yeah. And the doctor is there too, very fascinated by this, because this is the most impressive thing that the doctor... Stumped, I tell you. And yeah, breaking off the jaw to get a clearer sight, going through the ears. And it's interesting, the eardrums are gone inwards. They've not popped outwards, they've popped inwards.
So something could have gone in through the eardrum and then come out the mouth.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Though there's no particular hole, there's no enlarged hole between the ears and the brain.
Again, it leads credence to the theory that something small went in the ears and came out much larger through the mouth.
That could have happened.
So it's some type of parasite or demon or some type of creature that nests in the brain and grows.
If you say the word demon when she can hear it, she backs away from the dead body. If it spreads, what if it creates spawn that hides
that's
the
what
body?
We're here to stop.
Look, if you're gonna stand here and be afraid, you're wasting time. We run with a man who talks to the air. Do you think you could talk to the air and say, go inside my man's head and pop his skull out?
You know what? They probably could, actually.
Do we do that hard?
Such things are beyond me.
One more question before I dismiss you. Have you had anyone complain of earaches lately?
Just the usual.
I think with all of them.
All of them?
They have a parasite in their brain.
That's going to be quite a few people.
Tell you what, have them come in to be re-examined.
I'll do that, madam.
We're assuming that's the first sign of this infestation.
Very well. I'll do that.
Thank you.
She's
You're
trying
dismissed.
to stand at attention when she's saying this, but obviously she's never really been in the military.
Not a
So
soldier.
no. But yeah, she will shuffle away. Very happy to get away from Praanz, really.
It's fine. Most people are.
Yep.
I think we need to contact Erald.
I will, Promos will pocket the magnifying glass if she left it behind.
Praanz will
that's
poke around a
his
little
now.
more just to make sure they didn't miss anything.
No, you've poked around in that body everywhere, I think, by now. I'm going to say that's basically your morning's work, this.
Are there any scholars in the city?
Not really. There's no known university in Vumbra. The place has blacksmiths and military. That's basically what it's known for. There will be one or two in every city, but it's not like you can go down to the Fundreslor University or Mereld or Casilda, where there is a great concentration in the same spot. So you'd have to search for one who is available somewhere, I guess. The Trakorian administration has scholars employed for various clerk tasks, legal tasks, and so on. And I'm sure there are rich people who employ one or two tutors for their children and things like that.
I'm assuming the garrison has a library of sorts.
Not really, not a scholarly one. There's a bunch of governmental records, of course, and that's going to be over the population as well, of course, births and deaths and that sort of thing.
I'll have a letter sent to the headquarters and basically have them start researching what types of parasites and demons or creatures could cause this.
Very well. Access to the Digitalunga, which means that you get the absolutely fastest mail service available. So you're going to give it to a soldier who runs down to the harbor where there is a Catramas, the fastest ship they have, and they will go as quickly as they can. It's going to take a few days, or you could send a pigeon. That's even faster.
Whatever's faster.
All right, so a couple of days for the letter to get there.
I want to send a letter to the Digitalunga headquarters and have her scholars there start researching what kind of creature or parasite could cause this.
Yeah, that's a good place to do it.
And I want to send... Do I know where Erald is at the moment?
He didn't send you a note.
Okay.
That's a bit of a problem.
Yeah,
On the
'cause I
other
don't know how
hand, I
else to
think
get him.
Erald is making his way down to Judak and to get over to Vumbra as soon as he possibly can, because you're going to Transmira, aren't you, Erald?
It's a tentative game plan,
Yeah,
and we might visit Little Blue Guy along the way.
quite right.
What do I know about my victim?
Local fisher. Disappeared after a night on one of the local taverns.
I'm going to go talk to his family then.
How do you go there? Are you going with a bunch of guards, like a small retinue, and just bashing the
Nope.
door down, or?
Just me and Promos, if Promos wants to come. Honestly, Praanz doesn't trust most of her soldiers to actually back her up. They're good for running errands and shit, but to actually back her up in a fight.
Fair. Promos is coming with again?
Yeah.
Praanz, I've been in fights with Promos. I know who can back me up and who can't.
That's a fair point.
He's not particularly skilled, but he is stalwart. He is, however, a fisherman from this area. Like, he'll also want to look at the guy's boat, make sure that this is not something that is new to the waters or.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do that.
We'll talk to the family first just to figure out which boat is his.
You will get down to the port. There is a whole bunch of fishing is obviously an industry here. It's separate from the naval quarters, so this would be like the Royal Trakorian Navy, the Imperial Trakorian Navy up here. And then you have the trade ships arriving here, and then the fishers will just have to make do with anchoring in the river and heading out to sea that way in smaller boats. And it's midday now, so most fishers will be out at sea plying their trade. But of course, the grieving family will not be doing that because they just lost their breadwinner. They are dressed in very typical Transmiran garb, kaftans, turbans for the wind, and sitting around outside their little hovel, and there is clenching of teeth and tears on cheeks.
Good afternoon.
They're looking up.
General Praanz da Kaelve, I'm here to speak to you about your husband's death.
Everybody's standing up immediately and just,
Supreme High General.
Supreme High General. They will bow very deeply. Supreme High General.
It's okay. I just wanted to know if you noticed anything strange before your husband's passing.
Not really, no, Supreme High General. He simply went to the tavern and then he was gone. And when they found him in an alleyway, he was dead.
And which tavern?
Oh, that would be...
Yeah, Promos is basically,
That one.
he's going to try and get which tavern, who were his friends, and what was his drink.
Interrogation. This is what the Shamashi priest is really good at, by the way. Interrogation.
No, but we split the party.
Yes, you did. Isn't it lovely?
Praanz is going to need to pick up some investigative abilities.
How about the bull skull?
And his friends?
His friends? Yes, he has a group of friends. They often go there to fight.
A name.
You will get names for them.
And his drink.
Oh, I'm sure it was the strongest beer he could find. He couldn't afford the Safinian beer, you understand. It's much too expensive here, but he took whatever he could find.
But if somebody bought for him, that's what he'd have then.
Aye, absolutely.
The Sufinian?
Oh, everybody wants the Safinian beer.
Was he a regular?
Every chance he would go there.
And you didn't notice any kind of odd behavior, complaints of pain, anything like that before he left?
No, Madam General, ma'am. No, none of that. We're just simple fishers. We are just simple fishers.
No, you're not in any troubles.
They will relax visibly when you say that.
Promos will look at Praanz and be like, hey, we'll head to the bar then and take a look around.
Okay.
You know which alley he was in?
Aye, the city guard simply said they found him in an alley. Sir.
I'll find out which alley he was in.
When the taxmen come in, and I will hand her whatever mark Promos uses from Allesella to basically like wave around and get lodgings, like the MasterCard Black. He'll tear off one of those and give it to her and be like, you show them this and a man will handle it.
Oh, thank you, sir. That is most kind of you.
And on top of that, Praanz hands some gold over for your lost wages.
Oh, thank you, General, ma'am. Thank you so much. Look, it's a real Trakeen. And they're holding up the gold. And it still smells of bakers. I think it's from the Bakers Guild. It's true. Golden Trakeens in Tresilva, they are imbued with the smell of whatever guild has issued it. It's gold in Trakoria smells. The Perfume Guild is,
good
of course,
to know.
Yes, the Perfume Guild has the most sought after gold because it always smells the best. That gold passes the smell test.
We'll head to the bar and I'll find the city guard along the way.
Yep.
And figure out which alley he was left in.
Yeah, it's going to take a while because they're not terribly competent murder investigators. People die in Vumbra. They hit each other. Someone brings out a knife, and someone else brings out an axe and a sword. Accidents will happen.
No, but the guy with the missing brains.
Yeah, about that. I think most of them are like the rumor about this. I'm sure it's going to spread, and most of them are like, this is super weird. We don't want to have this. When in cop movies, when people just want to shift it off their table because it's too hard to handle.
That's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ironically, I think these are very much Promos's people. Like, this is walking into scuzzy dockside bars and getting punched in the face for your troubles is how he grew up.
No.
Oh, yeah. Like,
he might have sailed here. It's not like you don't sail far when you're a fisher, right?
yeah, he's probably been through Vumbra a time or two, just because he lives on his boat. It's his home and mode of transport. I think that he's looking for the stuff that would seem out of whack or out of sorts with how these places operate.
Yes, quite. Let's see how we can do this is a bit social thing. You don't have any social abilities, but you have a great deal of familiarity with Transmura and so on. So I'm going to give you an extra die in the water check. Why don't we do that?
Waters be 3d6?
Yes, indeed.
I think.
Can Praanz assist
altogether? 2d6 for the water, and then you add 1, so 3 in total.
Noble.
That would be you rolling 3 dice because 2 for your water and 1 for the noble. So that is 2 successes. One of them is a 6. That gives 2 extra to Promos.
All right. So 5d6. I imagine this is like Praanz serving as a distraction while Promos like chats up the barmaids instead.
Yeah.
Which isn't hard because Praanz is probably in full military regalia.
Yeah, that's going to be very easy. And you're waving the whole Digitalonga credentials around.
Supreme General of the Digitalonga.
Yeah, you're bashing the door down and coming with your badge, though not bashing the door down necessarily. But the badge is widely visible to everyone the moment you wave it around.
Yeah, it's the swinging saloon doors and the sheriff walks in and this little short guy's just like, hey, lass, any of your co-workers been like, I feel something like a tickle? Anybody been calling sick the last few days? And I need to see the Sephirin.
Not really. No, obviously this is way too early for people to really be arriving at this establishment. They will come after they come in with the boats in the evening, or end up with their craft shops. People are working today. So it's very few people here, but those who are here, like you can hear from inside the tavern a lot of rowdy laughter, and someone is punching someone else. And when you come into the actual tavern, it's really combined arena and tavern. So at one side of the tavern, you will have the counter where you have the innkeeper or whatever wench might be serving ale at the moment, or beer, or stronger things. And next to the counter is probably a place where those who play the percussives will be. And Transmirans love their drums and metal music, after all, though it's very quiet right now. And then there's some tables, long tables where groups can sit around, but they've all cleared out around a central area in the middle that is slightly elevated for people to punch each other, which probably feels very familiar to Praanz. You've been in competitive fighting.
Praanz looks excited.
This is like the less fancy version of what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of guys up there who are bashing away each other with fists. Judging by their faces, they've been doing it for a little while.
Praanz will start calling out shots and making like spectator comments.
They stop when you come in and go like with your badge and whatnot. Look, everybody just, it's a hush right in this place.
Dick and twisted.
Go on then.
You've probably been to the Bull Skull before. It's definitely a place, if you want to get into a fight after having a good drink, this is where you go. It's like a sport here. Not just for those who are standing on the stage, but also for anyone who wants to, really. You can be two spectators who bounce into each other, and then you go out into the alley next door and just smack it out. But with that wonderful roll, with all the successes there are two kind of modes here. One is, or maybe more than that even, one is, of course, the predominant, oh my God, the general is here. She is screamingly out of place here. It's just sore thumb, and everybody knows it. The other is, there's got to be, you see the glances from some of the folks in that corner over there. They are definitely rebel sympathizers. The hateful glares they're shooting at Praanz. You don't know if they're part of the rebellion, but they are definitely rebel sympathizers. And because you had 4 successes, one of them is 6. Otherwise, when you're talking to the tavern keep and the others about these things, they seem genuinely confused. What do you mean, an earache?
But nobody that ain't shown up today when they should have.
No, everyone is here.
Hey, it's good. I'll go chat with the angry lads over there. Are you going to watch my back, or are you going to get a drink and punch someone?
It depends. What would be easier for you to get them to talk?
Yeah, have a drink, punch someone.
All right, hold my jacket. Praanz takes off her military jacket and her swords, walks up to the ring, gets in and goes, "Who's next?"
Question, because Josh and Drake haven't had the chance to play for a while. There is another way to gain fate dice in this game. You can play an NPC in a scene. Do you want to play a couple of rebellious Transmirans who want a chance to whack Praanz?
Definitely.
Drake?
Well, sure.
All right. So you will gain 1 fate die each for the effort. How would you express this? Like, when Praanz enters the ring, what would these Transmiran rebels, who obviously are deeply committed to the rebellion and probably wants to basically kill Praanz if they can get away with it?
It's the Witcher cell.
She doesn't look all that strong.
Oh, definitely.
This is gonna end so badly.
So the boys are coming up to give you a challenge, clearly.
Clearly.
Yep. Since they are big and burly Transmuran boys, I'll give them 3 stone each. Are you taking on both of them at the same time?
I don't know if they'll give Praanz a choice.
To be
I think Promos just folds the jacket over his arm and tucks the swords. He's got the harpoon that he walks around with, but he'll just lean everything up against the table.
Is this a look what I've got in case you do any mischief kind of a thing?
It's more like if stuff goes south, he'll throw a sword.
All right.
Come on now, boys. I was nice enough to put the swords down.
At that point, I'll gesture to Drake's character, basically saying, "You first."
Don't want to be unfair and unsportsman.
It would not.
Praanz, when he steps in the ring, first of all, he's going to have to get past her Bonzicon.
Yep. Are we?
So we're going to throw a deter at him. She's going to give her, basically, her death glare.
Her death glare is coming.
Yeah.
All right. That is your final fate die. No, it's not, because you have 3 left. Oh, but you are also remaining unflinchingly upright and unbending, are you?
I am.
Like an oak.
Got me, motherfuckers.
That is 3 fate dice right there. So we have Praanz gaining 3 new fate dice for being Praanz.
So Bonzicon gives me 2 now?
You have 2 levels on that now. Yes.
Okay.
So that's gonna be
4.
Yeah, 4 dice in total if you choose to spend those. And let's have a look here. Bonzicon, you are deter. Water plus, so 4 dice to deter them, basically.
That was all 5s.
That was all 5s. Oh my god. They cannot attack if you win, so they can't attack because they have the enemy's stone, but they don't have more than 3.
Oh, why are my knees feeling kind of jello?
How about the other goon there, Josh?
Yeah. You know what? I don't think my beverage is getting cold.
Yep, that's got to be the case, right? It's the beverage. That's what it is about.
Yeah,
definitely.
At which point, Praanz goes, "Don't feel bad, boys. Greyon had the same reaction."
She had some fun, didn't she?
And if that gets him sufficiently loosened up, then the Promos is going to see if he can't bully some information out of him.
Right now, they will not mess with Praanz. Don't mess with the Praanz. That's basically it. You have to divide your dice pool if you're doing it against multiple foes. So that means they actually could win if they roll 3 successes. So both of you guys roll your stone, 3d6 each. Let's see if this actually... Yeah, no.
No.
Hashtag no.
Nope.
Okay, no changes
Same
there.
rule.
No changes there. They are absolutely intimidated and just sit their butts down on the place again. I don't know how he came up with the idea of killing this absolutely horrible person who is super scary. So Promos, why don't you get a bonus die on your water check here to have a chat with these guys?
Yeah, right.
Praanz just made them shit their pants.
Yes, she did.
This is like a very clear bad cop local boy thing.
Clearly. Now there's 2 of them. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that water. So if they have a 3 stone, I'm not sure they have. Let's say they have a 1 wind and 2 water. So let's have Josh or Drake roll 3d6 for them to resist your charms.
Go ahead.
They do not. Good cop, bad cop routine works really well. Oh, look, he's Transmuran like us. Such a nice guy. He probably hates the Empire too, is probably what these gentlemen think.
He just sits down, hands Praanz back her coat and sword, and just says, "You leave with a bruised spirit, but you're still drawing breath, and at the end of the day, that's what's important. Don't feel bad about it. Have yourself a drink. There's a man, comes here, fights here, and I give him the name of our victim."
Since our good friends Josh and Drake can't possibly know what these gentlemen know about the victim, I'll fill in. They are... How much do they know about this guy? Never heard of him.
Yes.
I think I heard of one of them.
On where's he run?
Oh, let's see now. He's a blacksmith apprentice.
And which forge?
We'll give the address.
Look at Praanz. There's our next lead.
I have one more question before we leave. Just out of straight curiosity. The night he died, did you notice any ceramic frogs around the joint?
None of that, no.
Okay, thanks.
See, I need to make a rule here. I think me that he left with someone.
Well,
No.
please.
Not at all.
Could you give us a description?
I can't remember what this person looked like, no. Very sorry, Madam General, but yeah, I'm sure that he didn't leave alone.
Male or
Was-
female?
Supreme High General.
Supreme High General. Was it one of the wenches or was it one of the laddies? This was it was a rowdy night, a lot going on. Terribly sorry, I'm having trouble remembering.
All right.
Not sure, Supreme Madam High General, ma'am. Did I get the title right this time?
We can poke around more here if you think there's more to discover, or we can go shake down a blacksmith.
Now let's go shake down a blacksmith.
Yep.
Yeah, pat the rebel guys on the back and back out the same way we came.
They'll be like hating the general and confused about the promos. Yes.
On her way out, just to poke the bear, Praanz makes a comment of, "You think I'm bad? You should meet my wife."
That's true.
They will have stories to tell to the resistance, and everybody in the resistance will be like, why didn't you kill her when you had a chance?
Because she's scary.
Exactly.
I'm sure there will be stories that they couldn't move. And
The first 2 weeks, they'll say that you left with your tail between your legs.
Yes, and then it will be black magic.
Yeah.
Praanz is a great, horrifying sorceress. That's what we know.
Mm.
Over in Paratorna is the word we were looking for. It will take about a day for our good friends Erald and Rubello to get themselves all the way back to Judak. Aside from seeing the very beautiful vistas of the mountains and the ocean below, far away, I'm not sure what Erald and Rubello might do as you're being led back to Judak.
Erald will probably go ahead and talk to Rubello here about another option before we head over to Trinsmira and pretty much give a synopsis the blue guy, for lack of better terms, at Skugr. As if we're heading up that way anyways, we might want to check in on that seer. Erald will go ahead and explain how the whole land there at Skugr pretty much is don't drink the water, don't take any of the drugs, otherwise you'll get trapped there forever type of discussion. And wouldn't really have to worry about that with Shamashi Priest, but still one of those things that you want to go ahead and mention.
Yes, the opiander addiction is a real thing and pretty scary too.
Yep. And basically, since we're passing through anyways, it would be a great opportunity for us to stop off, even if just briefly, to make sure that seer is still not come to harm.
What does Rubello have any opinions about that?
Well, I'm not going to take the drugs anyway.
Obviously not. That would go against Shamashi teachings, regardless of how...
Cowards.
Okay.
Because Shamashi teachings are very clear on the subject of drugs of any kind, including alcohol. They twist the senses and then what is an illusion and therefore against Shamash. So really, Rubello should, if he ever drinks anything, he should be drinking in very sensible amounts. He probably shouldn't be drinking at all, really.
Drink water.
Yes, and possibly very weak ale when needed, because if the water quality is bad enough that you actually get sick from it, you can drink something else.
Maybe some Amaro to help us digest it.
Yep. So that is the story for you guys. How elaborate do you want to make it for Drake here about the blue one?
Basically, at this point, Erald will pretty much recollect back to Rubello exactly his initial thoughts on the whole situation. This is before Erald really got into his use of fire. I'll put it that way. This is probably one of his first actual recollections of true magic and seeing the blue child.
That truly was blue.
That truly was blue and heralded as a seer and basically quite literally worshipped in the region.
Well, how would the skin be blue?
Rubello, you just have to see it.
Seeing is believing.
And it wasn't paint. It didn't seem to be. And it's just almost like the lack of regular pigment. It's just blue.
Maybe he fell into some kind of weird vat.
I'm sure as Priest Shamash, you will easily be able to see the truths.
I'm willing to try.
That's what you do.
That was the most sarcastic thing I've ever heard.
You still owe Belboza some help to the defaults there, Errol.
Yeah, that's why I keep coming by every so often to see if there's ways that I can help indirectly.
Yep. All right. Now, this journey, so you will arrive in Jodak in the evening. Are you pressing on immediately or in the morning? It's not a very long journey by Zeppelin. Like, you could get there in half a day.
I'll look
12
at
hours, maybe?
I'll look at Rubello and say, might as well just get on the Zeppelin and we'll sleep on the way there.
All right.
Well, it's a nice, fruitful ride.
All right, so you are trucking it up to Rule then. Who is ruling Rule right now?
Praanz is going to have to talk to Lavina about installing some cots or hammocks on the Zeppelins.
Currently ruling in Rule is Ingolma.
Oh, good luck
but
with
you're
that.
not going to Rule. You're going to Iliboria. I'm sorry, you're flying over Rule.
Yes, we're flying.
Which means that none of you can draw upon any of your Shadow Power friends at all. This time. Alas and alack and well a day. We'll see, but yeah, that's about it.
Okay. I can't remember. Is he part of our lovely alliance of non-rebellious peoples, Goskana?
Goskana has been attacked by the rebels, but has Goskana really committed fully to the Empire?
Yeah, I couldn't remember if he sat on that little board of people that Errol might have seen like once and said, you know what, go back to Sambersend, basically say that we're friends now and the Animist Inquisition's going to back you.
Yeah, he was, but like the Inquisition touches the defaults with a pair of pliers, preferably. They are weird and icky and deeply suspect of anti-creationist activities.
Yep. That's what got Errol in the problem with Belpoza to begin with.
Yes, it is. Praanz and Promos, you're getting to a blacksmith while the two priests are heading down the mountain as they go, literally. And there is a blacksmith. There is hammering and anvils and the clang of metals being banged out and the hiss of hot irons being cooled. What are we doing at the blacksmith's?
Praanz, being the bull in china shop that she is, walks in and just starts asking for the blacksmith.
They will... Okay, what kind of... Are they rebellious in attitude or are they faithful to the Empire? If I roll a 6, they're going to be faithful. They're neutral, clearly. They will be impressed by your credentials and soon enough drag out the apprentice in question, who is late teens, probably.
Praanz is smart enough to, like, compliment their workmanship. She would know enough about swords and weaponry to...
Oh, yeah. And you can, in fact, use your skill in swordplay to find good weapon makers and assess a blacksmith's work on a blade.
Okay.
So this young one is called Kairom Abvumbra. And I,
Listen.
Madam General, ma'am, sir, ma'am, Supreme.
The Supreme
All right.
High General.
Standing there with the apron. What?
Boy, this can either go real easy or real hard. We just want to know a few things about your friend. Your friend is dead. We want to know how he got that way.
I don't know nothing, General. I was with him that night at the Bull Skull. They might know more.
The people at the skull said that he left with someone.
That he might. But I cannot say that I remember it too well. My head was spinning.
No one strange came to buy you drinks. No one gave you nothing that was out of the ordinary. Yeah, like, you didn't have a weirdo walk in and sit brooding in a corner.
I cannot remember, sir. I
Sir, oh, come off it. You didn't see anybody you had a poke at.
What were you drinking?
I was drinking the strongest stuff I could get my hands on. It was wrongly whiskey.
Who was buying the rounds?
Oh, who was that again? Cannot remember. It was all fuzzy. I was drunk. Terribly drunk.
The first round. You were sober then.
Holds both hands on the caftan and just very scared. Who, I think that was, we were betting on one of the fighters and we won. That's how it was. Our fighter came through for us. It was grand, I tell you.
And who was that?
That was Phileas the Great.
Phileas.
Aye. Great big, like a door of a man.
And your other mates were there too?
Of course they were.
All right. And where do they run?
Oh, I don't know. I got so drunk.
No, where do they work, mate?
Oh,
Where can we find them?
yes, of course.
We want to make, look, your boy had his skull hollowed out like a coconut with a crab, aye?
What?
Aye, found in an alley. Nothing inside. Empty turbot. Like someone took a bucket of clams out.
We'd like to make sure that doesn't happen again.
No.
No ringing or nothing, and Promos will pick up one of the hammers and clank one of the anvils.
No, it was. They were. Yeah. So he'll name the deceased. He's the leader of our group. He was, and he bought drinks when our winnings came in. But then everything got so hazy. I think the two others of our group, they're out fishing. I think. They will be back in the evening.
Squid's Delight. Aye. All right. Dead man. He got a special spot that he knew about.
He knew about the fight, that I'll tell you that, mate.
Oh, no, a special spot out on the water. He was a fisherman too. Where was his spot?
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that, blacksmith. My cousin.
Drink less. Find a new leader.
Aye, I will that. That's what the turban is for, to not catch the sniffles. You should try one, it says to Praanz, because Praanz is obviously not a local.
I can go take a look up there early come morning, unless they're night fishers, but if they're going to be at the bar this evening, we might have better luck finding them there.
I'm happy to throw some people in the water or go frighten patrons again.
Fighting patrons, it's what you do!
Let's try to find where the Squid Delight was docked and harbored.
Yeah.
See if we know their routes, Promos might be able to get out there.
Maybe catch them sober. Seems also funny that the night somebody has, everybody's too drunk to remember anything.
I'm sure
That
it's
doesn't seem odd to you?
Hi.
Most of these folks are dead simple.
I'm getting that impression.
That boy's going to be straightening horseshoe nails the rest of his life. It's what he's good at, and it's good that it's necessary. He's had his skull rattled around too many times. He doesn't know what to think, and he's young. If he doesn't get knifed in a back alley somewhere around here, maybe he'll find himself onto a boat. But he don't know nothing about how a man got his gourd hollowed out, and I'd like to figure that out.
Yep.
Yeah, so you get down to the fishing vessels, and eventually they're coming in, right? This has taken so far your entire day of just going back and forth in Vumbra and asking people this and that. And yeah, there's the Squid's Delight. It's a very average-looking fishing boat, Promos. You're not impressed at all. It's definitely not like your boat. But yeah, they have their turbans on, and they have. I think the fishers, since they have to walk around in that boat a lot, they're wearing much shorter woolen cloaks, and they have to be able to put up with the water and all that, boots and so on. So it's not your typical Trismeran garb necessarily. It's not the mountain garb necessarily. But they are coming in with a good haul. It's nice and glittery there in the boat. Good for them.
Yeah, I'll approach him and see if I can catch him before they unload.
I believe you can, yes.
I need these two men.
Praanz
two
flashes
guys.
are bad.
Yeah, it's basically the two of
warranted.
them and a couple of assistants, right? They'll be like, yes, what do you want?
Your mate's dead.
Aye.
We want to make sure that you don't follow. Got a couple quick questions. Your boy was buying the drinks that night.
Aye, he was. Aye, we won big. We were betting on Philius,
Yeah,
you know.
Philius. No, big bear of a man, yeah.
Big door of a man.
Anybody join your table? What was new? Does anyone come to celebrate in your winnings?
Yeah, there was one, a lady. I think our friend got quite interested in speaking to her. Though we told him not to because he has a wife and child at home, but sometimes where the drink goes in, the brain goes out. Oh.
Aye.
But maybe not literally.
Or maybe.
Yes, literally.
Oh.
So tell me about this lass.
I think she had brown hair? Or was it blonde? She definitely not Transmiran, though. No, her accent, she was from Palamux, I'd say.
Palamuxian? And what else? Did she give you a name?
No, I wasn't talking to her that much anyway, so why would... But Palamuxian, I think, yes, by her tongue, it was definitely a foreigner, at least. Someone not from here. What was she called again? I think... Could it have been Gurnella? No, says the other fellow. No, she was definitely Telbora. That's what I remember. You're wrong. She was Gurnella and nothing else. I am sure she was a Telbora.
She got a first name?
That is a first name. Gurnella de Fontrasilor, was it not? Aye, that was Fontrasilor. That's absolutely right.
What'd she look like again?
Brown hair or blonde hair? I cannot quite remember.
Oh, one's light and one's dark.
Aye, but it was dark outside and inside as well. We only torches, and it's hard to tell with these foreigners. They're not wearing turbans like we do.
Wait, shouldn't that make it easier to see her hair?
It should. Fancy that. She had a hat on, didn't she? I think she had a hat. It was
Tell
not
me-
as fancy.
tell me
a
about-
hat.
All right. How less fancy? Go on. Tell me about the hat.
No feathers or anything. Wide brimmed, that's all. I think the hat might have been brown and the hair might have been blonde.
All right. Promos has another lead to go on and looks to Praanz. You got anything else?
Just trying to think. Praanz would know that. When I was at the wedding, did Praanz personally meet Lady Brittany?
Don't think so, no.
I know Jess knows of her. I can't remember if Praanz met her personally or not.
And then the fisherman goes, oh no, the hat was, well, light colored and the hair was dark. I'm sure of it. You were dark, so were you. And they start, you can't be sure about the description of this person, clearly.
So, and you've never seen this wench before?
No, never.
Go back to the bar maybe and see if we can get more from the tavern keep about the woman.
Well, Muxian, brunette or blonde, but wearing a fancy hat, should stand out enough to jog his memory.
Yeah.
And from Fontasilor, apparently. Which
Thanks,
is a
fellas.
place where Praanz has been.
It is.
Yes, and got her head caved in.
That's where I died.
Yes, it is.
When did you sneeze real hard?
No, there was a hammer involved. Very large hammer.
It's like a sneeze from the outside.
Yeah.
It
was a big hammer.
A sneeze from the outside. I suppose that is the day's investigations in Fontainebleau, is it not?
Yeah.
It's about as far as you get. So we will move on to Tuesday the 17th at an early morning, which is going to be the 17th of Fatesca, the third month of the year. And let me check if you have any messages. You don't. How about that? Not yet, at least. Your letter to Famqualdi should arrive tomorrow. Isn't that nice? Gentlemen, priests, you have traveled across Paratorna, towards Skuger. Up here. This is as far as you go. Oh, of course, you're going further than Fonzilma. I'm imagining things. I was measuring the stretch to Fonzilma and not to...
Yeah, it might be 2 days or 3 days now.
It's going to be 24 hours, in fact. So you'll be there in the evening of this day.
Okay.
I'm just going to move you guys over there. And because isn't it nice to have a Zeppelin to travel with? Yes, it is.
It is wonderful.
Your own private air service. Of course, in Skuger, things will get a bit rougher because, again, you don't have influence there, and the default skill do. So who knows if you get to keep your Zeppelin?
You lose Lavina's Zeppelin, we might have words, boys.
It's not a safe place, Skuger. Traveling across this stretch, though, I have to describe a little bit of what from the Zeppelin, right? Which is mostly forests and mountains. You will see, like, when you wake up in the morning, you will be passing over Fanzimla, and it's an interesting city, isn't it? Looking down on it, it's like Venice in this world. One part of it is it's built for regularly sized folks, such as yourself, humans, but they're still filled with canals everywhere, and people are making their way with boats. The other part of the city is built for the marsh folk. It's the city of the marsh folk. And they, of course, they get to about your hips. That's about or your waistline, something like that's about as tall as they get. And marsh folk, of course, are famously good at swimming and diving. rumor has it that their half of the city, which is built on their scale, you can't see half of it because half of it is underwater. You could only access the houses by diving down underneath. You can't tell from up where you are, of course, but it's an interesting thought to keep in mind. All of rule here is actually a province self-ruling rule of, it's nominally part of the empire, but the marsh folk have a council here where they get to rule mostly without interference from Tresilva. So you will be able to see even smaller people than usual from your Zeppelin, should you care to watch that. Of course, the latter half of that day, you just see mountains underneath because you're flying over the Korma Mountains. Not much to see there, except some goats, perhaps. Unless you like mountains, in which case you will love it.
Sure, there's a bunch of wind spirits for Rubello.
Yes, there are. Would Rubello want to speed up the trip a bit again? It's a thing you can do.
Sure, I would like to try. So that would be 3d6 to the wind dice.
You have 3 for the wind. You have to put in at least 1 fate die, of course. Now, you do again, because we're looking at talking kindly to the wind. Magic is procreatious if you do not violate the essence of the element. Yeah, you can speak to the wind and ask them kindly to help you. So that's going to be basically you put in 1 fate die at the very least to do this. How much are you going to put in?
Just 1.
All right, then. So you are reaching out with your senses, looking for the wind spirits around you and hoping to propel you faster, which makes a good deal of sense. Let's roll 4 dice. And there they go. Nice job there. We have
Very high numbers.
Yes. 3 lovely successes and 2 of them 6s, which means that you actually get a power level 3 on this one. Yeah, you will find you're reaching out. Do tell us how you're reaching out to the winds.
I'll be dancing there with my arms going somewhat like this, gathering their attention, and then asking them for help, mimicking their movements with my own. If I did it good enough there.
Absolutely. There will be a couple of winds coming up and going around you, fluttering your robes about, maybe playing a bit with Erald's robes too. But unlike last time when you had trouble with it, this time everything goes very smoothly, and these are nice and friendly winds. So even if they tug on Erald's cloak once or twice, they are not going to cause mischief with the birds this time. Isn't it nice? So they will be like, yeah, oh, how are you? You speak to us. What do you want us to do? What are we playing?
Let's play that way.
Let's play that way. So they will throw themselves towards to help the birds to push the balloon along as intensely as they possibly can, and basically create a jet stream for you guys that will carry you that much faster. How about I halve the time it takes for you to journey with that? Which means instead of 24 hours, we're talking 12. So you will, in fact, arrive in the morning in Skugr. How about that?
Excellent.
Yes. So early morning in Skugr. You've been here before. And we know where Umba is, right? You've been here before. We also have now 1 Rubello who is joining. Gio is definitely not here today. You are looking down on the port from the air. I'm just going to put you outside the port for now. And the sight that meets you, this is particularly for Drake, because you haven't seen this place before, is one of destitution. Half of the buildings in this place are basically waiting to just fall over. They are
dilapidated messes everywhere.
Yes, it's like crumbling ruins in parts of the city. It's dirt, garbage, waste accumulating the alleyways. Terrible smell here, really. The only place that has plenty of people who seem to want to be there is the temple area in the middle. And over that temple area is, in fact, this white circle here is a cliff that is floating in the air attached to the temple pyramid or step pyramid by a chain, a huge chain. But yeah, the temple is, in fact, or I shouldn't say the temple, the cliff is floating. How about that? I don't think Rubello has ever seen anything like it before in his life, because he hasn't.
No. Floating rock magic.
Yes, it is. Since you're flying there in a Zeppelin, you can even see what's on top of it, which you haven't before, Erald.
No.
In the middle of it, you can see there is a small hill with a gazebo, basically. And then around, because it's completely around, it's a circular cliff. It's a circular disc, really, floating in the air. Around it is a bunch of different functionalities. There is a fountain over there, some houses along the rim. There's something that looks maybe like a temple building, a pavilion. Is that a residential cottage over there? Maybe. Interesting. Lots of stuff. There is also, why don't we have wind checks from you? And that's going to be Rubello's forte, isn't it? As you're looking this cliff over.
For just 3 this time?
Yes. Wow. You see it
Nice.
immediately. On the side of the floating cliff is in fact a hole. And it's fascinating. As you're watching this, you can also see the chain that comes up right in the middle underneath. And there is a way, like, for people to walk there under where the chain attaches. Water is coming down in a never-ending waterfall on one of the sides, too. Fascinating. And you can see someone atop the temple in the city, like the step pyramid, butt naked, smeared all over with honey, suddenly being lifted up into the air right in front of your eyes. And all the honey disappears somehow, and then this person is lifted up to that hole on the side of the floating cliff and able to enter it. That is what's up there.
I didn't take any drugs on the ship, did I?
No, Rubello.
I don't think I took any drugs.
What is what you get here?
There might have been drugs on the Zeppelin. I can't say if you took any, but there probably were drugs on the Zeppelin.
Absolutely. It's
Last
Goba
time I was on the
Zeppelin.
Zeppelin, I left some drugs.
Exactly.
It's all Promos' fault.
Lavina keeps the bar fully stocked, and I'm fully stocked.
I apologize here, Mikhail, just for my own sanity again. Balboza, actually in the city. This one, correct?
Maybe. Last time you met him, he was in Vumbra, actually.
Vumbra, okay. I wasn't too sure which city I met him at last. I apologize. Okay.
Not a problem.
Yeah. I look over at Rubello and basically state that we probably shouldn't stay here long, and we should only drop down long enough to make sure that the seer is still fine, and to set a warning for the seer.
Yeah, I agree. This place is unsettling.
Do we just want to skip the below and go straight to the rock? I look at Rubello.
That might not be well received by the default guild. Just putting it out there.
No, yeah, but at that point I might actually see the blue child.
Yeah, that's something you might. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, might get shot down also by the default guild, but hey, it's not my Zeppelin, right?
This is true. The Goombas have violated our sanctity. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome politics?
Like, there's crowds of faithful outside the temple compound, and some people are pointing up towards the Zeppelin right now. It's obvious that you're there. There's no hiding.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, so I think we'll try and go ahead and land as best as we can and basically look at our driver, for lack of better terms, and say, you ready for a quick getaway? And try not to get mugged while you're here.
Are we landing outside the city then, sir?
I think that's probably the safest.
Yeah, that's definitely the safest. So you'll have to make your way in there. Meanwhile, as you have arrived here in Skugr, what are our friends in Vumbra going to do with this new day?
Go back to the bar
Ah,
and see if anybody remembers the wench.
I'm not sure what kind of reception. I need to have a nice... Let's see now, the bull skull. Where could the bull skull be on this map? Because we want to know where it is, don't we? There it is. I have decided. The bull skull.
We'll be going relatively earlier in the morning this time, so we shouldn't be stirring up too much trouble.
Yeah, at this hour, like, there's not going to be a lot of people there. Like, this...
No.
Basically, the innkeeper and the folks who are, or the tavern keeper and the staff who are slowly getting up and cleaning out from last night's blood and teeth that have been knocked out in the fighting ring and going with their sweeps.
In Praanz's defense, she was willing to put on a show.
She was, and they were just weak. That's all we can say about that.
Look, if that's the caliber of people that the rebellion has, then
We should
your
be winning
empire
this day of war.
is doing fantastic. And maybe it'll, who knows, maybe it'll scare them into compliance, or at least silence until we leave, and that's all I care about.
After we leave, I'm going to give their description to my guards, and they'll be weeded out anyway, so... They're not going to live.
That's Vumbra.
It's a bit of a rough and tumble place. It's a very happy place. Lots of people there are very happy. They have their music, they have their fires, they have their fighting. What's not to love? Apparently, regardless of who happens to be the master of the place. That's great.
Oh, there's going to be little pockets of idiots everywhere, for sure.
Praanz, you wanted to send a message to Erald. How are you doing that exactly?
I don't know where Erald is, so I can't really
Right.
send him a message.
You can send a message to the Inquisition on Safina, and they can forward it. Of course, Sambrazin also doesn't know exactly where Erald is.
Other than I was given orders to go looking for the seers.
Yeah.
Is there any way
but
to
there's
track
lots
the
of them.
Zeppelon?
What was that?
Is there any way to track the Zeppelon?
If you want to hear from if you put out word in your network, tell me where the Zeppelin is, then yes. So one of the
Okay.
things that you have as the boss of the Digitalonga is that it takes a little bit longer than it would for your other special resources. But basically, anything that the military hears about, like civil servants or Trakorian troops, most of it, not all, not 100%, but in a lot of the majority of the cases, they will report it to the Digitalonga, or the Digitalonga networks will pick them up. And that's going to happen within 5 to 10 days, something like that.
Okay, so I will send the message out and have it... Basically try to have the message sent to the Zeppelon
Ah,
of possible demon activity in Vumbra. Please inform Barú Erald.
all right. So let's have a look here. So you're sending this message out, and on the evening of the 16th, I guess, it's going to
Yeah.
reach from Kaelve a couple of days later. So that's like the second note you're sending on almost the same day. But that's fine. So let's see now. Note to Erald is going to arrive in Kaelve at that point, and after that, it's probably going to take about a week or so for everything to filter out, and then it will take another week or possibly 2 for you to get word back. But at least the word is out.
Yeah.
I'm going to put down a little note here. Word is out among Trakorian officials. Message for Erald.
Possible demonic activity in Vumbra.
I need my airplane. Give it, bring it back.
Activity in Vumbra. There we are. Okay, sorry. We were talking about if the innkeeper and the others had seen some strange lady. Weren't we?
Yeah.
Let's see how good their wind is. Since the 3 of them or more trying to remember together. I will roll a 3d6 here. Look at that. They have a memory, apparently.
Ooh,
Yes.
somebody was sober that night.
Somebody was so, yes, apparently the staff was sober. And yes, they did see a woman with a wide-brimmed hat. They're going to say it was a beige hat and she had brown hair.
Excellent. Do you remember
3
a
lines,
name?
I think. Name? No, I cannot recall that. But she definitely spoke with a foreign accent.
Where would such a person in Vumbra stay? Like, where would be the best inn for someone of her class and caliber?
Oh. What, class and caliber? Did she have class and caliber? No, I don't think she had.
She had on a beige hat that wasn't as fancy as mine, and she weren't from here, so she weren't hanging out at any of the local joints. She weren't staying at the hostels or the work camps if she's a foreigner, unless she was shacked up in someone else's house. So, which place would you put a lady in better dress than some, but not like the dockside motels, eh?
You might have a point about that. They're looking at each other. I would go to one of the inns for Trakorian travelers, Paratonans. Though we get travelers here from not just Paratona, they come from Safina as well. Traders bringing the good ale. And we get 1 or 2 from Palamux as well, but not as many. For that,
Right.
you should really go up to Kark, though. That's where they really go.
And speaking of like these traders from Saphira, what was this last drinking? What'd the foreigner order?
Oh, do you remember what she was drinking? No, not necessarily. Was she drinking anything at all? I didn't see her drink anything. No, me neither.
Yeah, that's suspicious.
She came here with a purpose.
Yep.
But this is the thing that's tracking it. And like Promos will absolutely just have this conversation with Praanz like in front of them. What's the point of brain in a fisherman?
They're just looking at each other.
What were his connections?
His connect?
Who did he know?
Just other local workers?
As far as we can tell, he knows a couple of fishermen that can't distinguish light from dark.
Who did he
And-
work for?
He worked for himself, for the fishing boat. Family fishing
He
business.
didn't have any kind of patron.
No, not that I know of. Do you know it? No, certainly not.
I think this might be like some kind of test.
Could be.
Or you find a new way to kill a man that don't leave nothing except a hole in the roof of your mouth. Oof.
With poisons, if you're going to do a mass poison, you usually test it on a smaller group first. And then do your mass poisons.
Alright, so it still could be some sort of alchemical potion thing that she done put in the drink. It could be a wee beastie that she loosed on him. Maybe it's a bunch of hooks. And she's
I think
just
we
real
need to
creative.
talk to our rebel friends again.
The boys that done pissed themselves yesterday.
Hey.
They come back in.
Oh, not yet. Way too early, sir.
And go for a walk or put the kettle on.
They probably are dealing with the after effects.
Let's go for a walk. They
As-
did mention that she was They did mention she was from Frauncesalor.
Yep, they did.
That's where the rebellion likes to seat itself.
Yep. If we go back to our classic Trakoria map, Frauncesalor is over there.
You think these are the same folk that killed their Lady Terralisi?
I do. And I don't know why they're
Since you're speaking right in front of the innkeeper, have you heard Supreme General Madam...
Supreme High General.
Supreme High General Madam, sir.
Supreme High General. 1, 2,
Supreme
3.
High General Madam, sir.
Hi there.
Have you heard that the Empress is in Milan? The new empress, the one from Palamux.
You mean the false?
Yeah, that one.
Empress. Yeah. Really?
That's what I hear. She's there to meet the first citizen himself, Lemur Spade.
Interesting.
That's what the rumor says. They say they're gonna have an alliance between the Republic of Transmira and the new Klavikian Empire.
Uh-huh.
That's what I heard.
Huh? Thank you.
Yeah, my cousin's friend is a trader, and he just came in from Cork this morning. I bought some things from him. He bought some excellent from Mux, and they have the best salt. It's right there on the Focal Plains, excellent salt mines. And he told me that he had seen the ships that carried the false empress herself.
Hey, Promos, you smell an assassination? Because I smell an assassination.
Your cousin, he goes back and forth this route a lot.
Hey, all the time over the mountains.
How long did it take?
A few days.
All right, a few days. You got goods from Palamux. Might have a cover for an assassin from Palamux.
Huh?
But why the fisherman? Practice for the Empress?
Possibly.
Oh. We better get a move on then, eh? Want to be there when it happens?
Oh, you're gonna.
Oh, sorry.
My thought process is other ones claiming that they're from Francis lore. I think she's working for the Empress to assassinate Lemur.
I don't know the man.
That would be great for you and the Empire, right?
Yeah.
They've been working together. You've heard through the grapevine how the rebel Empress and the rebel First Citizen have been joining forces in various places and attacking Trakorian assets before. Absolutely.
Either that, or it's tested product.
It looks less and less like it's a beastie, which I'm glad of. Means I don't have to worry about fishing something nasty and new up.
No,
Still could be demons or magic.
I can't think of a poison that would cause your brain to explode. I'm thinking probably demons or magic. But that doesn't mean it's not a spell. It doesn't mean it's not a
Right.
weapon.
So where do we go from here?
I don't know.
Think on that. While the two priests have arrived in Skugr, and we will wrap up here with some initial scenes as you enter the city itself, right? It's a miserable place, as I've already mentioned. Oh, it's not snowing in Skugr, my friends. That is completely wrong. Last time, I'm wrong. It is snowing in Skugr. How about that? A late spring snow is coming down. It is, in fact, actually warm enough today for, like, all the snow just melts the moment it hits the ground. But I'm talking here, a nice and balmy 8 degrees. So I'm going to change this to, I don't know why it's telling me 8 degrees in snow, because that doesn't make any sense. It's going to be 8 degrees. And what was that?
It makes sense.
Okay, then.
Gonna be here all the time.
Some more rain then coming in. Overcast today, very cloudy, which might have been a factor in you having to fly a bit lower. But yes, it's a pretty miserable place here. The houses, as you come in through the main gates, they are very decaying. You can't see a city market. You can't see people going to the well to fetch water. You can't see farmers coming from the outside to sell their produce to the locals. People lying in alleyways or standing around by the corner of the street and just watch you with the old shiny, heated eyes that are just very red around their eyes. And red around the nose and red around the mouth. They're bleeding a bit from the ears. You can hear screams from someone somewhere who probably didn't get their fix for today. It's a sound that comes from most places, really. Yeah, this is a miserable place. Absolutely miserable.
Erald will look over to Rubello and repeat once again, do not take anything from here. Do not touch anything from here. We're here, a man of the cloth, and as such, don't drink the water.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing I'm a man of holy convictions, or in this place, I would see no more of it.
Excellent. So yeah, Erald, having been here before, will basically make his way towards the temple.
You're making your way towards the temple, and as you're going through the alleyways here, you will see the strangest sight in one of the alleyways, that it's crawling over a screaming person. It looks like a centipede with a human head and bat wings on top and crab claws that are pinching the man as he's screaming.
Nice. Erald recognized this as something that was flying previously on a little ice sheet.
No, absolutely not that kind of thing.
Okay.
This is a centipede, not a crab being. It doesn't have no, it's much longer.
Okay.
It's about the size, like the centipede, and maybe it is as long as a couple of yards long, but it's very thin, and the bat wings are maybe about the size of a seagull's. So it's a very different size. But it's still a horrifying sight.
Erald will look at Rubello and basically gesture to keep moving past.
Yeah. Rubello, you can roll a, it's called? It's a wind check. It's what it's called.
A wind check for what?
Oh my God, you have all the successes again. Yeah, you remember having heard about how if you get, and I think Erald might have told you on the way, if you get hooked, you start hallucinating, and that's bad enough. But even worse is hallucinations come out of your mind and manifest physically in the real world.
This is probably the worst spot currently for the Shamashi priest because of the fact that fears and non-truths may exist here.
Yes, these here we take like falsehoods are taking real shape here. On the other hand, as a shamash, you can use your shamashi truth to dispel illusions. So you do have a counter. And
you can make the demon thing go away.
You can make the demon thing go away. And as you are marching up towards the temple, you will find yourself surrounded by 5 locals. How lucky are you today? I could have rolled 20. Who look very mean, very aggressive, and definitely might want to beat some foreigners up and take all your stuff. And that's where we stop on a nice cliffhanger. So we'll see next time how Erald and Rubello will handle 5 junkies who want their fix and are going to take it from your pockets.
I don't have pockets.
I know, but you don't know that. You look rich because you have nice clothes that are not completely, absolutely destroyed. Thank you for playing tonight. Thank you for watching and listening. Things are happening. We are now on what date are we? Did we stop at? We stopped at the 17th, the morning of, and our groups are actually closer together than when you started. There's only a strip of ocean separating the two of you now.
We're getting there.
We'll get there. Messages have been sent.
Messages have been sent. And we have a murder mystery, and we have a visit to the Blue Child coming up. How might that go? I don't know. We'll find out in a couple of weeks. See you all.
Thanks.